some holiday customs. One of the things that links at least part of the Ozarks with the South, you know, we've talked about the Ozarks. Is it part of the South? Is it part of the Midwest? Most of you, being from Missouri or living in Missouri, think of it more as Midwestern than Southern. But you still find a lot of people in the Ozarks who practice the black-eyed peas or Hoppin' John. Hoppin' John's really more of a deep South thing, but you know, occasionally you'll find someone who does that. But especially black-eyed peas and hog jowl on New Year's.
What is that?
Yeah, Hoppin' John. It's a dish of rice and black-eyed peas with other stuff, you know, onions and stuff like that thrown into it. Again, none of these things are unique to the Ozarks, and we borrow, and in many places in the Ozarks, probably the farther north in the Ozarks you get, the less likely you are to even do the black-eyed pea thing. When I was a kid, we never ate black-eyed peas on New Year's. We ate black-eyed peas and all kinds of peas all the time, but I don't remember ever doing it specifically on New Year's. Yeah, it's supposed to be good luck for the year, and but you know, I don't know why that. Or it doesn't have to be black-eyed. It can be purple hull peas, or you know, any kind of southern field pea.
I was also told that eating greens along with your
Yeah, yeah, collard greens or mustard greens. Yeah, peas and greens, and that you'd probably be more likely to find people eating peas and greens in parts of the Ozarks than you would Hoppin' John. You know, that's more of a deep South thing. Mess of greens, right? Yeah. So that's that. Other things that has anybody ever heard of the firing of the anvil? That's what this guy in this picture is doing. I don't know where this picture comes from, but you can see here there are actually two anvils. And in the firing of the anvil, you actually place one anvil on top of another and use gunpowder to explode, and the anvil on top then flies up into the air. Yeah. It's a very safe exercise. Yeah.
They have competitions for that.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, I've watched a show on like Discovery
about the anvil firing. Yeah. Yeah, that's, you want a really good hard hat, you know, or you want to be, you know, inside an iron building or something, you know, just, but... In Farmington?
They had some kind of angle.
Probably so.
I think so, because
Yeah.
I think my teacher did the filming
Yeah.
for Discovery Channel.
Oh, you're talking about the show he watched, you think was done in Farmington, Missouri?
There was some,
Could have been.
I think it was Angles. There
Could have
was
been.
something that he filmed for Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
They did in Farmington, and it was like a big deal.
It could have been. This was, now again, this is a tradition you would have found across rural America, and especially in the rural South and Midwest in those days. The fire, it was usually done, it could be done on New Year's morning, it could be done on Christmas. It could, you know, anytime you got drunk and needed, you know, wanted something to do, it could be done. So the firing of the anvil was, you know, just one of those traditions. Similar, pretty much any time when you might set off firecrackers, 4th of July, Christmas, New Year's, you know, there might be a time for firing an anvil.
How heavy is one of those things?
Really heavy. I don't know. I guess it depends on how big it is, but I mean they're heavy enough where, you know, they're over 100 pounds. Some of them, yeah.
Takes a lot.
Yeah, they're
Power.
really, yeah, they're heavy. Yeah, you're not gonna pick one up and, you know, fling it aside with one hand. That's for sure. They're heavy contraptions. But yeah, the firing of the anvil was a pretty common thing. For some people, a Christmas tradition was simply firing guns on Christmas morning. It sounds like something that would happen in the rural Ozarks, doesn't it? Yeah. We don't have any firecrackers, but you know, we'll unload a clip here. You know, just give me a minute to get loaded up here. That's That one came, let's see, oh, that came from a memoir written by a guy who grew up in North Arkansas, near the eastern edge of the Ozarks. But he mentioned that most people in his community fired off a shotgun on Christmas morning as soon as they got up. Said they blew anvils occasionally. And then he talks about other things they did on Christmas. And, well, since we're at Christmas, I'll just go ahead and see what he's got here. It says they had a public Christmas program with Santa Claus at the schoolhouse and in most places in the Ozarks.
Now, how old is that?
He's talking about, I think he was born in 1900. So he's talking about the very earliest 1900s.
Well, I was just thinking because like Santa Claus was always depicted as like one of the elves until like Coca-Cola advertising, and then
Right.
he became a man, and I was
Yeah.
wondering if, you know.
Yeah, you see references, and I don't know, you do see references to Santa Claus or Santa Claus, as he is in most places in the Ozarks, going back well into the 19th century. They're not always detailed over exactly what he is. I remember there was one account that was written by a guy who grew up in the post-Civil War Ozarks, was born during the Civil War and grew up in the 1870s, really. And he talked about one of the things that his family I guess it was his uncle that he lived with, would kind of sneak around, and on Christmas, or when they got up on Christmas morning, he would have made black marks, like with a piece of coal or something. He'd make black marks on the chimney outside and say that was the claw marks of Santa Claus. And so, at least in that family, Santa Claus was kind of scary sounded. You know, anything with claws who's been, climbing up the chimney, maybe bear-like or something. I don't know, but that was part of their tradition. So almost a Santa Claus, WS, that kind of thing. So I don't know, but this guy, he just says Santa came to school and that he got that they always hung their stockings and got one present in the stocking every Christmas morning. And he mentions in here that one morning he got dried calf manure in his stocking because he had told his siblings that there was no Santa Claus.
So instead of coal, he got
So I guess they didn't have any coal, so he got crap in his. But he mentions that they would have the Christmas program at the schoolhouse with Santa Claus. They would have a Christmas tree, a community Christmas tree that was a cedar tree, which would make sense in the Ozarks. You got cedar trees everywhere. And he says that a few days before the Christmas celebration, the women would hold a get-together where they would make popcorn and would string it on strings. And some of you have probably done that, string popcorn to put on a Christmas tree. That was one of the things that they did a lot. And they would also attach small candles to the limbs of the tree just before Santa Claus came in. They wouldn't leave them burning very long. Not a good idea on a cedar tree, especially a dry cedar tree inside a schoolhouse. And then they would have a program of recitations and songs by the kids, and then people would bring presents to this thing. This was in the early 1900s.